welcome to Native You, and I'm glad that you're here today. Jenna Spotted Wolf will be out today, but she will be back on the next show, so we hope you tune back into her. Today, our special guest is, I forgot how to say it again, Lozang Yonten. And she is a Buddhist nun who has returned to Helena for a short time. Lozang was raised in Helena but now resides in Australia. She'll be telling us more about her story in just a moment. But first, the Montana United Indian Association and the White Wolf Media Group will be offering free financial courses and a free investment planning courses. Now the difference in these is that these courses were designed specifically for American Indians audiences. They weren't, there won't be, for example, there's not going to be Indian tacos being sold or a drum group or anything like that, because our focus is specifically on learning how to better manage our finances and to make solid financial or solid investments. We'd also like to announce that we will be offering a home buyers course that is tailored specifically for Native groups. And that is because that there are other financial opportunities that are different than what you would find normally at the a regular home buyers group. So those things are coming up, and if you would like to find out more information about those or to be a part of the class or attend the classes, please contact me at 406-443-5350 or at our email, shawnwhitewolf@yahoo.com, and we'd be happy to answer any of those questions. And thank you for being here today. Can you briefly tell us what exactly the role is of a Buddhist nun that has in our community?
Sure. A Buddhist nun traditionally in Asia would probably spend a lot of time meditating and a lot of time doing work in people's individual family groups, like going to do practices to help sick family members, and then also studying. But in the West, in America and in Europe and Australia, Buddhism is a bit more new, and so we're still trying to figure out where we can plug in and be of most use. So, so far, what we've been doing is things like helping out in hospice services, so going into families' homes, helping them with death and dying, helping them through that transition, and also helping their family members afterwards. And then also helping folks on death row, helping them, understand kind of what that process is all about, trying to help them find some peace of mind. And then also we do a lot of study ourselves. And so in Australia, in my community, we spend probably 6 months of the year doing pretty full-on study, studying things like debate or logic and reasoning or minds and mental factors. And that's in order to really help us train our minds so that we can be of more benefit when we go out into the community, so we don't lose our patients, so that we're just more genuinely kind. So, so we do this kind of study ongoing, and it's never really finished. But sometimes we take little breaks to go out into the community, or else to go do retreat ourselves. So, a couple times a year we might do a 1 month or 2 month retreat by ourselves or in a group. And so that's what our community is doing right now, but it's still kind of evolving because Buddhism is so new in the West. So
interesting. Yeah. What did you call that? Mental what?
Like mind training,
Yeah.
And then also studying minds and mental factors.
Mental factors.
Yeah. So like states of mind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
I can be a little mental. In any case, there's not very many people, especially young, that have decided to do what you've done. What interests you in becoming a Buddhist nun?
I've only been a nun about 4 years, but I've been a Buddhist about 10 years. And that decision was really based on, I think, wanting more really straightforward and practical steps about how to change behavior. So, I could see that I had a temper, or I could see that I had, a lot of attachment to, worldly possessions and things like that, and that wasn't making me very happy. But I didn't really know what to do about that. And in Buddhism, I really found a lot of really interesting techniques about how to really change the focus away from thinking that outside things make me happy, trying to realize how much happiness was coming from a state of mind. And so, so I started sitting with a Zen group here in Helena when I was a teenager, and it just kind of evolved from there. And I think my practice became more intense when I was about 18 because I was in a car accident at that point and realized that I actually still didn't really know what I was doing and really thought, you know, I need to not treat Buddhism like a hobby anymore and maybe get down to business. So I started looking for good Dharma centers, we call them, places where Buddhists practice. And there was a great one in Australia, and I just haven't left because it was so suited to my personality. So that's the short story.
Well, we'd like to take a moment. Larry Bissell has a song, his latest song, called Mystic Waters. Yonten.
Yonten.
Yonten, okay.
That's all right.
I'll figure it out by the time you get back to Australia. And she was raised here in Helena, attended school here, graduated from Helena High School, and went through a difficult period in her life and decided to move to Australia and practice the Buddhism. And so, Yonten, what were some of the challenges that you faced after becoming a Buddhist nun?
You know, it's interesting. I think I decided to not just be a regular Buddhist, and live a regular life, but actually go ahead and become a nun because I really wanted more structure and more things in my life that kind of helped guide me towards what I wanted to do. So, so I kind of landed in this really clear structure about how I should live and how I should think. And I realized suddenly that, you can have all the perfect structure in the world, but if your mind isn't sort of tame, it doesn't matter. And so my biggest struggle so far, and continues to be, is self-discipline. And so, just looking at why it is I don't want to get up in the morning, and why it is I don't want to, go to bed at night, and, why is it that I still have a temper after all these years of trying to practice patience, and realizing that that I have the perfect circumstances to practice, but the challenges that come up are just my own mind. So while it's a lot easier to practice things like loving kindness and compassion and these kind of good things that we can all agree are good things, while you're in a community of people who also want to do that, it's a lot easier. And of course, if you were in a family where there's a lot of fighting and arguing, it'd be a lot harder to practice those things. Still, it kind of comes down to your own mind. And so my biggest challenge just continues to be that, trying to get good self-discipline and do what it is I've already decided is a good idea, trying to keep reminding myself of that. So that's been the biggest struggle.
Wow, okay. It's very clear that you're still very young.
Yeah.
What are some of the temptations that have impacted you the most?
It's old habits die hard. I like to have a good time as much as anyone else, and also, it's a little bit sort of sad to think I won't have a family and won't have kids and won't settle down in that way. And so there's both, go out and have fun sort of temptations, and there's settle down and have a family temptations, and and then there's just the really everyday temptations of slipping back into old habits of laziness and pride and jealousy and emotions that I really want to overcome but just come up because of habit. So, I think that, the sort of temptations that are out there are more obvious when my practice isn't going well, but if I'm having a good, continuous, sincere kind of motivation, I guess, about what it is I want to do with my life, then those things don't really come up. But if I'm not sort of staying disciplined again, then naturally my mind strays and goes, oh, that's pretty over there, or, sort of gets distracted. And so, so temptations will come up, of course, and I think they will until I die. But I think if I maintain a good motivation and remind myself of, I'm doing this because I want to be a better person, I want to be a kind person, and I want to be of most benefit to everyone I meet. And in order to do that, I've decided to be a Buddhist nun, and that happens to be my method, and it works for me. Might not work for everyone, but I sure like it. So if I remind myself of that, hopefully the temptations won't be so tempting. So.
So when you're talking about a discipline, you're living a discipline. What does that include? What is your day like?
Yeah.
Is it from sun up to sundown? What kind of things? What disciplines you to stay in your practice?
Yeah, our year is kind of broken up differently year by year, but usually there's a couple breaks where our teacher goes over to India to get teachings himself or to give teachings to other groups of people. And during those times, we can do retreat. So that involves about 8 hours a day of meditation, sort of in 2-hour chunks, with a nice big lunch break.
Oh, I've tried meditation. That's 30 seconds.
It's hard, yeah. I'm not good at it for sure, but so that's what we do in our breaks. And sometimes, during the breaks, like right now, I've come home to see my family and to save up some money so that I can go back. So that's stuff we can do during breaks as well. But during the kind of main chunk of the year, we do our morning prayers. People get up at different times because, people have different habits, but usually pretty early. We get up, do a morning prayers for about an hour, and then our classes start about 8:30 in the morning, and we start out with kind of a tutorial reviewing what we went over the day before, and then later we'll have kind of the big general teaching of the day, which usually is about an hour and a half long, and that's kind of whatever topic we're studying during that kind of semester. We kind of break up topics into 6-week chunks or 8-week chunks.